Very interesting about this scene is that, of course, the texts from Canetti, which are written by a highly political point of view regarding the relationship between individual and society, between public space and private space, between his position as a writer towards what's going on during his life, of course. What is very interesting that surrounding such a scene with the words from Canetti before completely loads it up with a lot of imagination without being anything precise. What I discovered in some talks with the audience also is that, especially this scene with this little house and this huge noise, evoked completely different images. Like when we did this piece in, I remember in Paris people spoke about, said, yes, it was airplanes coming. No, in New York in New York they said it was airplanes coming. In New Zealand they were talking about earthquakes. And other people saw rather streets and city life, quite cozy city life. So the imagination is completely going in different directions, but always on the same relationship between their own space and the public experience. Next scene enters the light as a performer, actually, and I will go a little bit faster. You can see here comes the light on stage. It's a moving light. These computer-controlled lights, which you know from heavy metal concerts, I think.
Chaque fois qu'on regarde un animal avec attention, on a le sentiment qu'un homme y est dissimulé et qu'il se fait notre tête.
Whenever you observe an animal closely, you feel as if a human being sitting inside were making fun of you. I'll go a little faster. So he plays with this light actually as with an animal. And in the next scene, which I would like to show you, it's actually this moment when the actor sort of introduces himself as an actor without any music and with text as a
Je n'ai point de mélodie pour m'apaiser, point de violon alto comme elle.
And he starts a monologue about
À ce moment, la diversité des instruments représente la diversité des hommes.
He starts a monologue about the political role of a conductor. He describes the conductor. He says about the conductor, there's no more obvious expression of power than the performance of a conductor. A conductor ranks himself first among the servants of music. The conductor stands. Ancient memories of what it meant when men first stood upright still play on an important part in any representations of power. And this is actually a quote from Mass and Power, where you find a lot of observations on the political, metaphorical, but indeed not only metaphorical, but literally meant role of conductors. You find also in the biography of Elias Canetti a long passage when he speaks about the authoritarian character of Hermann Scherchen, whom he met in Strasbourg in the 20s.
L'orchestre est comme une assemblée des types humains les plus importants.
And I will shorten this monologue because it's quite long.
C'est des applaudissements. Pendant l'exécution, le chef d'orchestre sert de guide à la foule dans la salle. Il est en tête, le dos tourné, c'est lui que l'on suit car il fait le premier pas, mais au lieu de partir du pied, c'est de la main. Le cheminement à l'intérieur de la musique, qui est l'œuvre de sa main, qui a une route sur laquelle ses pieds le porteraient en avant, il entraîne la troupe entassée dans la salle. Son regard, aussi intense que possible, embrasse tout l'orchestre, chacun s'y sent plus parmi mais plus encore entendu. Il est omniscient. Car tandis que les musiciens n'ont devant eux que leur partie, lui, il a toute sa partition dans la tête ou sur son pupitre. Il sait exactement ce qui est permis à chacun, à chaque instant. Les tenir tous ensemble sous sa surveillance lui confère le prestige de l'omniprésence. Il est pour ainsi dire dans la tête de chacun. Il sait ce que chacun doit faire, il sait aussi ce que chacun fait. Recueil vivant des lois, il règne sur les deux côtés à la fois du monde moral. Du commandement de la main, il indique ce qui doit se faire et empêche ce qui ne doit pas se faire. Son oreille explore l'air en quête de ce qui est défendu. Pour l'orchestre, son chef représente bien en fait l'œuvre tout entière dans sa simultanéité et sa succession. Et comme pendant l'exécution, le monde doit se résumer tout entier dans l'œuvre, c'est lui qui pendant ce temps, exactement, est le maître du monde.
After this big monologue, in a very classical sort of style, he leaves the theater. And there's a live camera sitting in the first row of the theater who follows him out of the space through the theater building. This was actually in Lausanne in an afternoon performance. He enters a car and drives away. But there's only 20 minutes after the beginning of the piece, so the audience is quite irritated, like you are, even more. But what is very interesting at this point, and that's probably also an important point why I want to show you this, is that this is an extremely relaxed moment in the audience. People start laughing. People start speaking to each other, and you can really compare that this intensity in which he sort of strangled the audience before as an authoritarian conductor with his monologue of the mass and power. Now it's a relief. It's an irritating relief because they don't know if does he come back or does he not come back, and what's happening with the show now and how do they do that and whatever. But it is still a relief. And I think, and I pointed out this afternoon with another piece, I think the fact that now for the rest of the piece, this stage basically is empty. There's not much happening anymore on this huge, wide stage. Has to do with the fact that somehow the audience wins a space for themselves. Of course, they have the video in this on this white house surface, but it's something different. Video is, even when it's live, it's something different, and I think it's a certain term of absence which I like about theater, and I like to develop about theater because what we have in visual arts already since the 20s, 30s, that any sort of representation disappears, and we are faced with an absence, we have to load it.